It looks like something from a science fiction movie, but this is Landcare Research's international collection of microorganisms from plants. Around 16,000 strains of bacteria and fungi from plants and soil are held in this secure, purpose-built facility. These living specimens are from both New Zealand and overseas. The nationally significant collection is vital to plant disease research and plant disease diagnosis.
It's very important for diagnostics so that we can compare what we have in New Zealand or people have in overseas countries. They can compare by actually using the material in there as authentic strains. It is also really valuable to document the actual plant diseases that we have in New Zealand, because when a disease is reported, we need to authenticate that report by having a voucher specimen, or in this case a voucher culture, and that then is the substantial record of that disease in New Zealand. We then know when it was recorded, on what host, the time of the year, who collected it, and we can go back and interrogate it for any reason.
New Zealand is largely reliant on its agricultural exports, and it can't be overstated how important it is to be able to identify and deal with any plant diseases that may inadvertently cross our borders.
One recent example is the recent disease of kiwi fruit. It's a current incursion response that we're having of the so-called PSA disease of kiwi fruit. And when a new disease is recognised in New Zealand, one of the first questions is, has this come in from overseas recently? What is its pathway? Or has it possibly been here for some time and been unrecognised? We responded to MAF very quickly by looking into ICMP to look at all records of potentially similar bacteria that had been isolated and deposited there from kiwi fruit, and in fact found that we could not match them to what we have now, suggesting that what we had was relatively new. And so that was a very useful indicator to the response group in MAF and in industry that this was not recorded previously in New Zealand.
Requests for material are fielded from researchers not only from this country, but from all around the globe.
People and institutions especially, are requesting these strains which we can send out around the world for their research purposes. We have of course a lot of New Zealand material too, which goes to other researchers in New Zealand and other CRIs or universities or to industry, as long as they have the appropriate containment facility required often to hold this material, because many of the specimens are pathogens and therefore have to be held within containment.
Landcare Research also holds a large collection of material from the Pacific Islands. This is held in trust for those nations.
We basically hold it as custodians, and it's important that we get that material accessible to the Pacific Islands so that they can make best use of it for biosecurity purposes and for biodiversity purposes. So we are seeking ways where we can actually not repatriate the material because it's held safely here, but make it accessible through databasing, through images, and so that they can actually achieve and receive the benefit from the material while it's held in safekeeping here.